Hey, so tonight we're going to experience life as a Paleolithic hunter-gatherer. And I mean really experience it, not the Hollywood caveman stereotype with the grunting and club dragging, but the actual sophisticated survival of our ancestors 30,000 years ago. These weren't primitive brutes, but skilled artisans, master trackers, and brilliant problem solvers who developed technologies we're still trying to fully understand. Oh, and if you're enjoying these stories, I'd really appreciate a like or subscribe. Super curious where you're all listening from. So, drop a comment with your location and what time it is there. Always blows my mind how people are falling asleep to this all over the world. Alright, find that cozy spot. Take a nice slow breath and just let your body sink into whatever you're lying on. We're heading back 30,000 years to the last ice age in what would someday become southern France. And trust me, you're going to be real grateful for your central heating and grocery stores by the time we're done. So, congratulations! You just woke up in a limestone cave as the first pale light of dawn filters through the entrance. You feel the cold before anything else. Not the biting, dangerous cold of deep winter, but the persistent chill of early autumn that seeps through the thick mammoth hide covering your sleeping alcove. Your body naturally curls tighter, conserving warmth as consciousness slowly returns. The smell hits you next, wood smoke mingling with the earthy dampness of limestone, the musky scent of cured animal hides, and something else, the rich, meaty aroma of yesterday's kill still smoldering in the fire pit. Your eyes open to darkness that isn't quite darkness. The cave mouth glows with the faintest suggestion of dawn, and you can make out the familiar shapes around you. The carved bone tools hanging from leather thongs. The carefully stacked firewood. The sleeping forms of your clan members, their breathing creating small puffs of vapor in the cool air. You stretch slowly, feeling each joint protest after a night on the hard cave floor. Your sleeping furs, carefully sewn reindeer hides with the winter coat still intact, shift around you with a soft rustling sound. These aren't just blankets, they're marvels of engineering, each hide selected for specific properties, treated with rendered fat and pine pitch to maintain flexibility in cold weather. Rising quietly, you pad barefoot across the smooth limestone floor toward the fire pit. The stones around the hearth are still warm from last night's fire, though only glowing embers remain. You breathe gently on the coals, watching them brighten to orange, then add carefully prepared tinder, dried grass mixed with birch bark, fibrous material you spent time yesterday evening preparing because you know that fire is life, and life depends on being prepared. The tinder catches with a soft whoosh, and you add increasingly larger pieces, thin twigs, then finger-thick branches, building the fire with the patience your father taught you. Fire is not taken, you remember his words, fire is invited. Each piece of wood has been selected and seasoned, stored in the driest part of the cave where moisture cannot reach it. As flames dance higher, casting shifting shadows on the cave walls, you notice the paintings that cover nearly every surface. Horses gallop in eternal motion across the limestone, their bodies flowing with the natural contours of the rock. Bison charge through imaginary valleys. Your own handprint, placed there during your coming-of-age ceremony, sits among hundreds of others, a testament to everyone who has called this cave home. The warmth of the fire begins to penetrate your body, and you hold your hands closer to the flames. Your palms are thick with calluses from knapping flint, throwing spears, working hide. These hands have created tools that would be museum pieces in another time, crafted with a precision that modern archaeologists struggle to replicate. Your throat feels dry, and you know the day must begin with water. You take up one of the water vessels, not pottery, which hasn't been invented yet, but a brilliantly waterproofed bladder made from a bear's stomach, sealed with pine resin and wrapped in braided sinew. It's completely watertight and remarkably durable, though it holds the faint taste of its origins. The walk to the stream requires leaving the cave's protection, stepping into a world that is both breathtakingly beautiful and constantly dangerous. The morning air bites at your skin as you emerge, wearing only a simple leather wrap around your waist. Your body has adapted to this climate through generations, more muscular and stockier than modern humans, designed for efficient heat retention. Outside, the landscape takes your breath away. Rolling hills stretch endlessly, covered in a mosaic of grassland and scattered groves of birch and pine. In the distance, you can see the white peaks of glaciers, reminders that you live in the shadow of the great ice sheets. The air is so clean it seems to sparkle, free of any pollution, carrying scents of wildflowers, fresh earth, and the distant musk of mammoth herds. The stream runs crystal clear over smooth stones, cold enough to make your teeth ache when you drink. You fill the bladder slowly, watching minnows dart between the rocks. This water has never known chemicals or treatment plants. It's exactly as it emerged from underground springs, mineral-rich and pure. Back in the cave, as others begin to stir, you turn your attention to the day's most crucial task, maintaining and preparing your tools. Your survival depends entirely on these implements, and each one represents hours of skilled craftsmanship. Your spear points are made from carefully knapped flint, each one shaped through hundreds of precise strikes. You run your finger along the edge. It's sharper than any modern razor blade, capable of cutting through thick hide or penetrating deep into vital organs. The hafting is equally sophisticated, the stone point bound to the wooden shaft with sinew that shrinks as it dries, creating a bond stronger than modern glue. You check each binding carefully, testing the flex of the wood, ensuring no cracks have developed. This spear has fed your family for 2 years, and you know its balance as well as your own body. The wooden shaft is fire-hardened ash, selected for its straightness and strength, shaped with stone scrapers and polished with rough sand until it's perfectly smooth. Your knife receives the same attention. The obsidian blade, traded from volcanic regions hundreds of miles away, is so sharp you can shave with it. The handle is carved from reindeer antler, shaped to fit your hand perfectly, wrapped with leather strips for better grip. This isn't just a tool, it's an extension of your body, worn smooth by constant use. The clan's survival depends on today's hunt, and as the sun climbs higher, you begin the careful preparation that will determine success or failure. Your older brother, the lead tracker, has already scouted the area and found fresh signed mammoth tracks leading toward the river valley, perhaps half a day old. You apply camouflage with methodical care, rubbing mud mixed with crushed berries and animal fat into your skin and hair. This isn't war paint, it's practical invisibility, breaking up your human outline and masking your scent. The mud feels cold and gritty against your skin, but you know it could mean the difference between eating and starving. Your hunting pack contains everything needed for a multi-day expedition. Dried meat wrapped in fat provides concentrated energy. Fire-making materials are triple wrapped in waterproof hide. Extra spear points rest in carved bone cases. A small pouch holds medicine plants, willow bark for pain, moss for wound treatment, herbs to settle upset stomachs. The clan gathers as the sun reaches its midday height. 15 adults, all armed and camouflaged, moving with the fluid coordination that comes from years of hunting together. You've done this countless times, but your heart still beats faster with anticipation. This is what you were born for, what every day of training has prepared you for. Following mammoth tracks across the landscape is like reading a story written in the earth. Each footprint tells you something: the size of the animal, its age, whether it's injured or healthy, how long ago it passed. You and your companions move in single file, the lead tracker pausing frequently to examine bent grass, disturbed soil, scattered dung. The trail leads toward a marshy area near the river where mammoths come to drink and wallow. This is ideal hunting ground: soft earth that will slow the massive beasts, water that masks your approach sound, and multiple escape routes if things go wrong. You can smell them before you see them, that distinctive musky mammoth scent carried on the wind. Crouching behind a screen of willows, you get your first glimpse of the herd. 3 adults and a young calf, the massive matriarch standing nearly 12 feet tall, her curved tusks gleaming in the afternoon sunlight. These aren't the sluggish, prehistoric monsters of imagination. Mammoths are intelligent, social animals with complex emotional lives. The matriarch's small eyes constantly scan for danger while the others feed, her trunk testing the air for threatening scents. Hunting them successfully requires not just courage, but deep understanding of their behavior and psychology. The attack comes with explosive suddenness. Years of planning and coordination condense into moments of controlled chaos. Spears fly from multiple directions, aimed not to kill immediately but to wound and slow. The mammoths trumpet in alarm and pain, the matriarch wheeling to protect the calf while the herd tries to flee through the marshy ground. Your spear finds its mark in the flank of a younger adult, the sharp obsidian point sliding between ribs to find vital organs. The animal stumbles but doesn't fall, thick layers of fat and muscle protecting it from immediate death. This is why mammoth hunting requires the entire clan. These creatures are incredibly tough and won't go down easily. What follows is a grueling test of endurance that could last hours or even days. The wounded mammoth tries to keep up with the herd, but blood loss and pain gradually slow its movements. Your clan follows at a distance, reading signs of weakness, waiting for the right moment to close in for the final kill. You run across miles of varied terrain, your bare feet finding sure purchase on rocks and roots that would trip a modern human. Your breathing settles into the deep, rhythmic pattern of a distance runner, your body drawing on fat reserves built up for exactly this purpose. This is persistence hunting, the uniquely human ability to pursue prey over vast distances until exhaustion makes them vulnerable. The landscape flows past as you maintain the chase. Rolling grasslands give way to rocky outcroppings, then back to marshy river bottom. The wounded mammoth leaves an increasingly clear blood trail, bright red drops on leaves and stones that tell the story of its failing strength. Other animals flee at your approach, herds of horses, reindeer, even cave bears that recognize humans as formidable predators. You are part of an ecosystem where humans have earned their place not through tools alone, but through intelligence, cooperation, and sheer physical endurance. The mammoth finally collapses in a grove of birch trees, its massive sides heaving as it struggles for breath. The final spear thrust is almost merciful, ending its suffering quickly. Even in this moment of triumph, you feel the weight of taking such a magnificent life, saying a brief prayer of thanks to the mammoth spirit. Now begins one of the most complex operations your clan ever undertakes, butchering a creature that weighs several tons. Every part will be used, nothing wasted. The hide becomes shelter, clothing, rope. The bones become tools, needles, awls, hammers. The fat provides light, waterproofing, and concentrated nutrition. Even the dung will be dried and used as fuel. Your stone knives slice through skin and muscle with surgical precision. These aren't crude hack jobs, they're carefully planned cuts that maximize yield and preserve the integrity of different parts. You've been learning this anatomy since childhood, understanding exactly where to cut to separate different muscle groups without damaging the hide. The work is physically demanding but also deeply satisfying. Your hands and arms become slick with blood and fat, but this isn't disturbing, it's the successful completion of your most important responsibility. This mammoth will feed the clan for weeks, providing the calories needed to survive another harsh winter. As darkness falls, you make camp near the kill site, building a large fire to keep scavengers at bay. The flames dance higher than usual, fed by mammoth fat that burns with bright, steady light. The smell of roasting meat fills the air as choice cuts cook on wooden spits, the protein your body craves after the day's exertions. Around a fire, the clan shares the story of today's hunt. This isn't idle entertainment, it's crucial education, preserving knowledge that could save lives in future hunts. Every detail is examined, discussed, analyzed. What worked well? What could be improved? What did the mammoth's behavior teach you about the species? Your hands work automatically as you listen, using sharp flint flakes to scrape fat from mammoth hide. This hide will become winter clothing, but first it must be carefully cleaned and prepared. The repetitive scraping motion is almost meditative, your mind processing the day's experiences while your body performs familiar tasks. The fire crackles and pops, sending sparks spiraling into the star-filled sky. Above you, the aurora borealis begins its nightly dance, sheets of green and blue light rippling across the heavens. You've seen this phenomenon countless times, but it never fails to inspire wonder. Some nights, the ancestors seem to dance in those lights. The journey back to the cave takes 2 days, burdened as you are with mammoth meat, hide, and bones. The clan moves more slowly now, taking time to identify useful plants along the way. Berries go into stomach pouches, medicinal herbs are carefully wrapped in leaves, nuts are cracked and eaten immediately for quick energy. You carry a haunch of mammoth meat across your shoulders, the weight distributed by a leather-carrying strap that doesn't exist yet in human history but represents thousands of years of refinement in how to transport heavy loads efficiently. Your muscles ache, but it's the good ache of successful work, of providing for your family. The landscape looks different on the return journey. You notice things missed on the outbound trip: a bee tree that could provide honey and wax, a clay deposit perfect for making waterproof containers, game trails that might be worth exploring later. Your eyes are constantly gathering information, building a mental map that could prove crucial in lean times. Other clans have passed this way recently. You can read their tracks and signs like a newspaper. The Elk people moved through heading south 3 days ago. The Red Ochre clan has been gathering hazelnuts in the valley. These aren't strangers but distant relatives, part of a loose network of related bands that sometimes trade, intermarry, or cooperate on large hunts. Back in the home cave, you're greeted by the warm sounds of domestic life. Children playing with carved bone toys. Women working hide with stone scrapers, the rhythmic scraping creating a percussion background to conversation. Elders sharing stories while crafting tools, their gnarled hands still capable of delicate work despite arthritis caused by a lifetime of physical labor. The cave has been busy in your absence. New paintings decorate the walls, abstract patterns that record astronomical observations, hunting tallies, or perhaps just artistic expression. A section of wall has been prepared with careful grinding and polishing, ready for the next ceremonial artwork. You contribute your share of the mammoth to the communal stores, hanging strips of meat in the smokiest part of the cave where they'll cure slowly over the winter. The fat is carefully rendered in stone bowls heated with hot rocks, producing clear oil that will burn in stone lamps or waterproof leather goods. Your sleeping area feels luxurious after days in the open. Fresh grass has been laid under your furs, and someone has banked coals from the main fire to provide gentle warmth through the night. These small comforts represent sophisticated understanding of how to make harsh conditions livable. In the flickering lamplight, you turn your attention to personal projects that have been waiting. Your winter boots need new soles, thick mammoth hide that will provide insulation and traction on ice. Using a bone needle and sinew thread, you begin the careful stitching that will determine whether your feet freeze when the deep cold comes. The work requires intense concentration. Each stitch must be perfectly placed, tight enough to be waterproof but not so tight that the leather tears. Your fingers move with practiced precision, muscle memory built up over years of similar tasks. This isn't just craft, it's survival technology that keeps you alive in conditions that would quickly kill an unprepared person. Near you, a young clan member works on his first spear point, the careful knapping creating a steady rhythm of stone striking stone. Each strike must be precisely controlled. Too hard and the obsidian shatters uselessly, too soft and it doesn't flake properly. You pause occasionally to offer guidance, passing on knowledge that represents thousands of generations of accumulated wisdom. The cave walls tell the story of your people in pigments mixed from ochre, charcoal, and animal blood. Hand stencils mark the passage of individuals through life, children's small hands gradually replaced by adult ones, some disappearing when people don't return from hunts. These aren't just decorations but historical records, genealogies painted in stone. As autumn deepens toward winter, your activities shift to preparation for the harsh months ahead. Every decision now carries weight that could determine survival. Food must be preserved, shelters winterized, tools maintained and replaced before they're desperately needed. You join a group harvesting the last berries of the season, racing against time before frost destroys them. Each berry is carefully picked and either eaten immediately for the vitamins or mixed with fat and meat to create pemmican, concentrated survival food that won't spoil. Your fingers are stained purple with juice, but these small fruits could prevent scurvy during the long winter months. Root vegetables require different treatment. Wild onions, tubers, and bulbs are carefully dug and stored in cache pits lined with stones and bark. These underground storage areas maintain consistent cool temperatures that preserve food without freezing it solid. Each cache is carefully marked and memorized, because forgetting a food storage location could mean starvation. The clan's winter clothing also needs attention. Your mammoth hide cloak requires waterproofing with rendered fat, a process that involves working the oil deep into the leather until it becomes supple and weather-resistant. This isn't just about comfort. Inadequate clothing kills quickly in Ice Age winters. As the days grow shorter, your clan prepares for the seasonal ceremonies that maintain connection with the spirit world. These aren't primitive superstitions but sophisticated psychological and social technologies that bind the community together and provide meaning in a harsh world. The cave's deepest chambers, where perfect acoustic properties create haunting echoes, serve as sacred spaces. Here, the clan gathers for rituals that connect you to ancestors, animals, and the mysterious forces that govern life and death. Your voice joins the ancient chants, words passed down unchanged for countless generations. The ceremony begins with purification, smoke from burning sage and sweetgrass that cleanses both body and spirit. The aromatic smoke fills your lungs and seems to lift your consciousness to a different level, where the boundaries between past and present, human and animal, become less distinct. By flickering torchlight, the painted animals on the cave wall seem to move and breathe. The horses gallop across the stone, the mammoths trumpet silently, the bison charge through eternal hunts. These images aren't just art but bridges to the animal spirits, ways of maintaining the complex relationship between predator and prey that keeps the world in balance. In the deepest part of the cave, in chambers that stay completely dark unless lit by torches, you participate in vision quests that have guided your people for millennia. The isolation, fasting, and rhythmic chanting induce altered states of consciousness where important revelations come. These visions aren't hallucinations but genuine insights into the workings of nature, the behavior of animals, the location of resources. Modern science might explain them as the subconscious mind processing vast amounts of environmental data, but the experience feels like direct communication with the spirits that guide all life. You see yourself as a mammoth, feeling the world through different senses, the extraordinary sensitivity of the trunk, the social bonds that hold the herd together, the ancient migration routes passed down through generations. This isn't fantasy but deep empathy that makes you a more effective hunter by understanding your prey's perspective. The vision shifts, and you soar above the landscape like a hawk, seeing the interconnected patterns that connect all living things. Rivers that feed valleys where herds gather. Mountain passes that channel animal migration. Weather patterns that determine when and where food will be available. This aerial perspective guides hunting strategies and seasonal movements. Winter arrives with shocking suddenness, transforming the familiar landscape into an alien world of ice and snow. The cave entrance is partially sealed with stones and hides, creating a smaller opening that's easier to heat but still allows smoke to escape. The main living area shrinks to the space immediately around the fire, conserving precious fuel and body heat. Daily life becomes a careful balance of conserving energy while maintaining the activities necessary for survival. Food must be rationed carefully enough to maintain strength, but not so much that stores run out before spring. Every calorie is precious, every decision about when to hunt or gather must be weighed against the energy cost. The cold is unlike anything modern humans experience. It penetrates everything: your bedding, your clothing, even the cave walls seem to radiate chill. Your body adapts by burning fat reserves more efficiently, but you can feel yourself becoming leaner as winter progresses. This is normal, expected, but it requires constant attention to avoid becoming dangerously thin. Tool maintenance becomes even more critical when a broken spear or failed fire could mean death. You spend hours each day checking bindings, sharpening blades, preparing backup equipment. Your hands become so familiar with your tools that you can work on them by touch alone in the dim firelight. The long winter nights are filled with stories that serve multiple purposes: entertainment, education, and cultural transmission. These aren't simple tales but complex narratives that encode survival information, moral teachings, and historical knowledge in memorable form. You listen to the epic of the first hunt, when your ancestors learned to cooperate in bringing down Mammoth. Every detail has significance: the plants that provided poison for spear tips, the seasonal timing that made the hunt possible, the social agreements that allowed the largest clans to work together. The story is both thrilling adventure and survival manual. Another favorite tells of the Great Cold, when glaciers advanced further south than ever before and many clans died. The heroes of this story aren't mighty warriors but the careful planners who cached extra food, the toolmakers who developed better cold weather equipment, the scouts who found new caves when old ones became uninhabitable. The message is clear: survival depends on preparation, cooperation, and adaptability. You contribute your own stories to the tradition, recounting unusual animal behavior you've observed, successful hunting techniques, or places where useful materials can be found. These stories will be remembered and retold, becoming part of the clan's accumulated wisdom. In a world without writing, memory is the only library. The first signs of spring arrive so subtly you almost miss them: a slightly different quality to the light at the cave mouth, the sound of dripping where ice begins to melt, a change in the wind patterns that brings warmer air from the south. After months of winter's grip, these small changes feel like miracles. Your body responds to the increased daylight with renewed energy. The winter lethargy that conserved calories begins to lift, replaced by the restless energy that drives exploration and expansion. It's time to venture further from the cave, to assess what winter has changed in the landscape. The first expedition outside reveals a world transformed. Trees that looked dead have swollen buds ready to burst into leaf. The ice on streams has become thin and musical, singing with the sound of moving water underneath. In protected valleys, the earliest flowers are already blooming, tiny white and yellow blossoms that seem to glow against the brown earth. Animals are moving too, emerging from winter shelters or returning from southern migrations. The reindeer herds are flowing north, following routes established over thousands of years. Birds appear in increasing numbers, their songs creating a symphony that was absent during the silent winter months. The whole world seems to be awakening from hibernation. As you stand outside the cave in the warming spring air, breathing deeply of the clean, flower-scented breeze, you reflect on the cycles that govern your life. The mammoth hunt that provided winter sustenance. The careful preparation that allowed survival through the dark months. The stories and ceremonies that maintained social bonds when physical survival demanded all your energy. This is the rhythm your ancestors have followed for countless generations, and it will continue long after you're gone. There's profound satisfaction in being part of something larger than individual survival, in maintaining traditions that connect you to both past and future. Your children will learn these same skills, follow these same patterns, adapt to whatever changes the world brings. The cave walls hold the handprints of dozens of generations, each one a testament to successful survival, to knowledge passed down and preserved. Someday your own children will add their prints to this record, and the chain will continue. This continuity, this connection to something eternal, gives meaning to even the hardest days. As evening approaches and you return to the warmth of the cave, you feel the deep tiredness that comes from a life lived completely, where every action has purpose and consequence. This isn't the hollow exhaustion of meaningless work, but the profound weariness of someone who has used their body and mind fully in service of survival and community. Your sleeping furs welcome you like old friends, their familiar scent and texture immediately beginning to relax muscles tensed from a day of activity. The sounds of the cave settling into night create a soothing background: the soft conversation of family members, the gentle crackling of the banked fire, the whisper of wind across the cave mouth. You close your eyes and let your breathing slow, matching the rhythm of the cave itself. Your body sinks deeper into the furs, releasing the tensions of the day. Around you, the painted animals watch over your rest, guardians that have protected countless sleepers before you. And in this deep rest, you understand something profound about what it means to be human. These ancestors weren't primitive or brutish, they were us, with the same capacity for love, creativity, and wonder that defines humanity today. They created art that still moves us, developed technologies we're only beginning to understand, and lived lives of remarkable richness despite material simplicity. Their daily existence was harder than anything we face, yet they found time for beauty, for ceremony, for the stories that give life meaning. They knew their place in the world with a certainty that modern life often lacks, not above nature or separate from it, but woven into the fabric of existence so completely that survival and meaning became the same thing. As you drift deeper into sleep, you carry with you the memory of that connection to the land that provided everything needed for life, to the community that made survival possible, to the traditions that linked past and future. In some deep part of your being, you remember what it feels like to be completely present, completely engaged with the immediate reality of existence. Let that memory settle into your bones now, that knowledge of what humans are capable of when every day matters, when every skill is essential, when community isn't just pleasant but necessary for survival. Feel yourself sinking deeper into rest, supported not just by your comfortable bed but by the long chain of ancestors who survived so you could be here. Sleep now, knowing you carry within you the strength and wisdom of those who faced far greater challenges with nothing but stone tools and accumulated knowledge. Rest well, protected by walls that don't need to guard against mammoth or winter storms, warmed by heat that requires no careful tending, surrounded by abundance those Ice Age ancestors couldn't have imagined. Rest well, and dream of the deep satisfaction that comes from a life lived completely, purposefully, connected to something greater than yourself. Sleep now. Rest well.